this is what's happening in the massive state of Brazil that once held so much opportunity years ago. I can remember being down there in the year 2005, 6, 7, and seeing what could be, right? Because I sound like Kamala for a moment. What could be? We can be unburdened by what has been. Anyway, I was down in Brazil and I'm looking at this massive population. I mean, you think about the economic growth that could be there. They haven't had it because, in part, the liberal guy running the place who just put in a new order banning speech, banning X, also known as Twitter.
Elon Musk's X will remain banned in Brazil after the country's top court upheld the decision. But Musk is refusing to back down. And progressives here in the U.S., including former DNC Deputy Chair Keith Ellison, wasting no time praising the move. Musk responded to the post saying the Democratic Party, same one that used to defend the First Amendment, now wants to destroy the First Amendment.
Wow. Think about that. Kamala's top person, Keith Ellison, out there saying, hey, this is great. Obrigado, Brazil. Means thank you. Great news, right, Brazil? How is that great news in any way, shape, or form that people cannot communicate with one another because you see, the powers that be, the guy that runs the joint, Lula, who used to be in prison, he's running the joint in Brazil, and he said, no, we're not going to allow this. Kind of reminds you of someone else. Can you believe that Kamala Harris is actually more left than anyone else in Congress, including Bernie Sanders, including Senator Elizabeth Warren? Here she is during the debate with Elizabeth Warren saying, I can't believe that you don't want to ban the President of the United States' Twitter account. I mean, wouldn't you want to do that? Wow, this woman is dangerous. Watch.
Senator Warren, I just want to say that I was surprised to hear that you did not agree with me that on this subject of what should be the rules around corporate responsibility for these big tech companies, when I called on Twitter to suspend Donald Trump's account, that you did not agree, and I would urge you to join me, because here we have Donald Trump, who has 65 million Twitter followers and is using that platform as the President of the United States.
I mean, how dare he? How dare he have 65 million? How dare he try and communicate with people? Because you see, if you're not communicating what Kamala wants you to communicate, which is anything that's pro-Kamala and pro-left, well, then you apparently don't have a right to communicate, because anything you're saying must be, of course, lies. Except, of course, this woman lies a lot.
To openly intimidate witnesses, to threaten witnesses, to obstruct justice. And he and his account should be taken down. We saw in El Paso.
Finance.
You can't say your corporate responsibility if it doesn't apply to everyone.
I announced this morning that I'm not going to take any money from big tech executives, from Wall Street executives. We've already agreed, Bernie and I, we're not taking any money from big pharma executives. You can't go behind closed doors and take the money of these executives and then turn around and expect that these are the people who are actually finally going to enforce the laws. We need campaign finance rules and
Senator
practices
Warren. Senator Harris?
that support us all.
You can't. It does not represent a system of justice to say that the rules will apply differently to different people. This is a matter, you are saying, of holding big tech accountable. Yes. Holding big tech accountable because they have an outsized influence on people's perceptions about issues. And they actually...
So, you know what eventually happened? Once Kamala and Joe got into the White House, they decided in their own little way to hold everybody accountable by pressuring the likes of Facebook, the Meta CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, revealing just this past month, just exactly what went down, about his team being pressured. Now, we don't need to feel bad for him, and we don't. And he may be just trying to make sure he plays all sides of this thing, or maybe he's actually just trying to do the right thing and be truthful. But it turns out it was Joe Biden's team that insisted that all the FBI laptop stuff come down, because no, why would the laptop be under investigation? That was nothing but Russian misinformation, right? Misinformation bought and paid for by the Russians And this is what they tried to tell us over and over and over and over again. It's like they must really think we're stupid. I'm amazed by this. This is all he did was tell us it was a giant lie, and it was all true.
50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage.
This is classic Trump. We have 4 days left, and all of a sudden there's a laptop. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged.
I still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation at a smear campaign, like you said.
Yes. I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. It's the last-ditch effort.
Turns out, absolutely, Hunter Biden was being investigated. No, that wasn't misinformation. But you know what? Kamala didn't want you communicating that. The Biden White House didn't want you communicating that. So who's to say if she winds up in the seat, it doesn't happen all over again? Right? And then some. It's one of the reasons why RFK Jr. is in this race. Listen to him here. No, they're never the good guys. What's the answer to bad speech? More speech. RFK Jr. knows this. Tucker Carlson knows this. I know this. I think you know this. Kamala Harris, maybe somewhere deep down, I don't even think she does. I was going to say maybe she knows it, but I don't think so. Because I think deep down, she is actually totalitarian at heart. And this is why it's such a dangerous time. This is why it's so critical that people get really serious really fast about this election. You know, the guys over at Heritage Foundation, I just talked to Dr. Roberts the other day who runs it, have coined her as dangerously liberal. And gosh, are they right. Here's a quick little excerpt from him.
It is. And, you know, I'll get to the motivation of putting this website together, but I've got to hang on this great point that you make, Trish, which is how the left co-ops language. They've taken this word liberal, which actually can be fine in a classical liberal sense, but in this modern American sense, especially as it relates to the vice president's policy record, it's awful. And so a few weeks ago, we were motivated to put this website together, which has gone live in the last few days, in order to inject more policy substance into this conversation. Why do we have to do that? Because these liberal policies are dangerous. They're dangerous to the American dream. They're dangerous to freedom. They're dangerous to prosperity. But secondly, as is evidenced by this interview that the vice president did last night, she's running away from her record. She's running away from that policy substance.
I would add, they are dangerous to speech. And by the way, you have only to look at her. The fact that she won't even give us any speech, the fact that she won't actually go and do a sit-down interview. I mean, for goodness sakes. First woman running for the presidency, well, since Hillary. But the first one with a, well, no, I was going to say maybe a shot. I'm going to take those words back. I think actually she suffers from some of the same darn flaws that Hillary suffered from. And that's the likability factor. MSNBC doesn't believe that, but we've got more on that coming up. Anyway, so Kamala Harris can't sit down for an interview, not without big boy Timmy right next to her. I mean, this is unbelievable. Think about this, guys, the other day. I mean, I thought this was quite an optic to see. Let me see if I can pull this picture for you, because she was sitting there and she looked so puny, so tiny. Remember, they had the three of them. See, there was like Dana, and there was Timmy, and there was Kamala in the middle, looking really, really tiny and really, really small, and blaming everything, of course, as she always does, on Donald Trump. I mean, it's the go-to answer.
I've been vice president for 3.5 years. Yeah. The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%.
Right. Be really proud. By the way, reminder, one of our great sponsors here on the program is American Hartford Gold. Trish Loves Gold is the URL. You can get up to $15,000 in free silver by going there, buying your gold from them. Just text my name, Trish, to 65532. I'm a big believer in diversification. Gold is part of that equation. So 65532, my name, Trish, for your chance to get up to $15,000 in free silver by signing on with them. TrishLovesGold.com is the URL. That's where I highly, highly, highly recommend that you go. But this is a woman who's going to just continue to blame Donald Trump for anything and everything and think that that's the answer. Oh, well, she's simultaneously trying to shut down speech, all while she won't actually do an interview on her own, while she won't do a town hall, while she won't take questions from the people. And she got installed in there in some kind of really non-democratic process on top of it all. So no, that doesn't make anyone feel very good. It makes us all sort of question just exactly what's coming down the pike should she actually win.